What if I told you that there is a way to completely transform the pain that someone from your past caused you? That it is possible to not only overcome this wound, but to use it as fuel for a fuller and happier life. In the next few minutes, you will discover 5 powerful attitudes that will help you truly heal this pain that still hurts you. Many people carry this emotional baggage for years, even decades, without knowing that there is a real and definitive way out. They get stuck in cycles of hurt, resentment, and sadness, missing out on opportunities to live incredible moments. If you don't learn these 5 attitudes that I will share today, you may continue to suffer unnecessarily, letting the past control your present and your future. But if you stay with me until the end, you will understand exactly how to break these invisible chains that bind you to suffering. There is one attitude in particular, the third one that I will reveal, that has completely changed the lives of thousands of people. It is so simple that it seems obvious, but at the same time so profound that it may seem impossible at first. Get ready, because what you're about to learn here could be a game changer in your emotional healing journey. Tip 1. Accept that pain is part of the growth process. The first and most important step in healing the pain of someone who left you in the past is to understand that this pain is not your enemy. It is, in fact, a teacher in disguise. When someone we love leaves us, whether through a breakup, betrayal, or abandonment, our first reaction is to try to escape this terrible feeling that settles in our chest. We want it to disappear quickly. We try to distract our minds, fill our time with 1,000 activities, or even start a new relationship to avoid feeling empty. But this escape only makes things worse. It is like trying to heal a wound by putting a bandage over it without cleaning it first. The infection will continue underneath, causing even more problems. When you stop running away from pain and decide to face it head on, something magical happens. You realize that it has a lot to teach you about yourself. Maybe it's showing you that you need to learn to value yourself more, or that you were placing all your happiness in someone else, forgetting to cultivate your own inner joy. Maybe it's revealing unhealthy relationship patterns that need to be broken. Pain is like an internal alarm that tells you when something needs to change in your life. Imagine a person who consistently chooses partners who don't value them. Each time this happens, they feel a deep sense of pain. If they simply try to forget about it and move on to the next relationship, they'll likely repeat the same pattern. But if they stop, look at this pain with curiosity, and ask what it's trying to teach them, they may discover that they need to work on their self-esteem and learn to set healthy boundaries. Accepting pain as part of growth does not mean enjoying it or accepting suffering. It means understanding that it plays an important role in your journey of personal evolution. When you stop fighting it and start listening to what it has to say, the healing process becomes much faster and more effective. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the protagonist of your own transformation. Tip 2. Practice true forgiveness, starting with yourself. The second fundamental step is to learn to truly forgive, and this always starts with yourself. Many people think that forgiving means accepting what the other person did or pretending it was no big deal. In fact, true forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. It is the conscious decision to no longer carry the weight of resentment in your heart. When you don't forgive, it is as if you are drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. The one who suffers is always you. But before you forgive someone who hurt you, you need to forgive yourself. How many times do you blame yourself for trusting too much, for not seeing the signs, for giving yourself completely? How many times do you wonder why you weren't enough to make that person stay? The guilt you place on yourself is just as destructive as the anger you feel toward the other person. Maybe even more so, because you have to live with yourself 24 hours a day. Self-forgiveness begins with the understanding that you did the best you could with the knowledge and emotional maturity you had at that time. No one enters a relationship expecting to be hurt. You loved sincerely. You gave yourself wholeheartedly, and that was not a mistake. It was an act of courage. The fact that it didn't work out doesn't diminish the value of your love or your dedication. Let's think about someone who was cheated on after years of being in a relationship. It's natural for that person to wonder if they could have done something differently, if they were negligent in some way. But the truth is that the choice to cheat was the other person's, not yours. You have no control over other people's decisions, only over your own reactions. When you forgive yourself, you free up incredible energy that was being wasted on self-criticism and blame. This energy can be directed toward rebuilding your life, toward taking better care of yourself, toward growing and becoming an even better version of who you already are. Self-forgiveness is like taking a heavy backpack off your back after a long hike. You feel an immediate relief and can walk much more lightly and quickly toward your goals. Tip 3. Transform pain into wisdom through deep reflection. The third attitude, which can completely revolutionize the way you deal with suffering, is learning to transform your pain into wisdom through deep reflection. This is that special technique I mentioned at the beginning that can change lives forever. It's not just about thinking about what happened, but about diving into the deepest layers of the experience to extract valuable lessons that will protect and strengthen you in the future. Deep reflection is different from dwelling on problems. When you dwell on problems, your mind goes around in circles, always returning to the same painful thoughts without getting anywhere. It's like a dog chasing its tail, lots of movement and no progress. Deep reflection, on the other hand, is a structured process where you ask yourself specific questions and seek honest, constructive answers. Start by asking yourself what signs you ignored at the beginning of the relationship. This isn't to blame yourself, but to develop your intuition for the future. Maybe you noticed small inconsistencies in the person's behavior, moments when they didn't prioritize you, or situations where you felt disrespected but let it go. This isn't an analysis to punish yourself, but to create a more efficient internal warning system. Next, reflect on what aspects of yourself were neglected during the relationship. Oftentimes, when we are so focused on pleasing someone or maintaining a relationship, we neglect our own dreams, hobbies, friendships, and needs. Identifying these areas is the first step to reclaiming them and never giving them up for anyone again. For example, imagine someone who always dreamed of painting but gave up this hobby because their partner considered it a waste of time. After the breakup, upon deep reflection, this person may realize that they have lost an important part of their identity. The wisdom to be learned from this pain is that in future relationships, it is essential to keep alive the aspects that make you who you really are. Deep reflection can also help you identify repetitive patterns in your relationships. Maybe you're always drawn to emotionally unavailable people, or you tend to sacrifice too much for others. Recognizing these patterns can be liberating because you can start making more conscious, healthy choices. Did you like what you're hearing? Then subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos, and leave a comment telling us which city you're watching from. Your participation makes all the difference and motivates me to continue bringing content that truly transforms lives. Tip 4. Rebuild your identity by focusing on who you really are. The fourth essential step is to rebuild your identity by focusing on who you really are, not who you were when you were in that relationship. When we experience a deep heartbreak, it is common to feel as if a part of us has died along with the relationship. This happens because we often build our identity around the person we love and the role we played in their life. When that person is gone, we are left lost, not knowing who we are without them. But here's a liberating truth. You exist independently of any relationship. You had a unique essence before you met this person, and that essence remains intact within you. What needs to be done now is to rediscover and strengthen that authentic identity that may have been dormant during the relationship. Start by making a list of all the things you enjoyed doing before this relationship began. What were your hobbies? What kind of music did you listen to? How did you spend your free time? What were your dreams and aspirations? It's likely that many of these activities and interests have been put on hold to make room for the relationship. Now is the time to bring them back into your life. Also think about the personal qualities that define you. Are you a creative person? Do you have a great sense of humor? Are you generous with your friends? Are you determined when you want to achieve a goal? These are your characteristics, whether you are in a relationship or not. They haven't disappeared. They've just been overshadowed by the pain and the sense of loss. A practical example would be someone who was always known for their contagious joy and optimism, but who after a romantic disappointment became a bitter and withdrawn person. Rebuilding identity in this case would be a conscious process of reconnecting with this natural joy, perhaps through activities that have always brought happiness, such as dancing, being with friends, or playing sports. It's also important to set new goals and personal projects. When you direct your energy toward goals that depend solely on you, you regain a sense of control over your own life. This could be learning a new skill, traveling to a place you've always wanted to see, or dedicating yourself to a cause you believe in. These personal projects not only distract you from the pain, but they also build a new narrative about who you are and what you're capable of. Rebuilding your identity is a gradual but extremely rewarding process. As you rediscover aspects of yourself that had been forgotten, your self-esteem naturally strengthens. You stop defining yourself by the absence of someone else and start defining yourself by the presence of your own qualities and potential. Tip 5. Cultivate gratitude for lessons learned. The fifth and final step to completely heal past pain is to cultivate gratitude for the lessons that experience has taught you. It may seem counterintuitive or even impossible at first, but this is one of the most powerful tools for transforming suffering into growth. It's not about being grateful for the pain itself, but for the positive changes it has brought about in your life. Every difficult experience carries within it seeds of wisdom and evolution. The relationship that ended, however painful it may have been, certainly taught you valuable things about love, relationships, and your own limits and needs. Perhaps you learned to value honesty more, the importance of communication, or discovered strengths within yourself that you didn't even know existed. Gratitude works as a natural antidote to resentment. When you can look back and recognize what you gained from the experience, even after losing the person, your heart opens to future possibilities. It's like taking a dark lens off your eyes and seeing colors you couldn't see before. Think, for example, of someone who has always been emotionally dependent and who, after a painful separation, was forced to develop independence. Initially, this person may have felt lost and unable to live alone. But over time, he or she discovers an inner strength that he or she did not know he or she had, learns to make decisions for himself or herself, develops new interests, and gains a self-confidence that he or she never had before. This transformation is a direct gift from the painful experience. You may also be grateful that you have discovered what kind of relationship is truly not right for you. Often we stay in situations that are not good for us out of fear of the unknown or out of complacency. When we are forced out of these situations, even if it is painful, we gain clarity about what we truly want and deserve in our love lives. Gratitude also extends to the people who have supported you during this difficult time. Times of crisis have the power to reveal who truly cares about us. Perhaps you have grown closer to true friends, strengthened family ties, or even met new people who have become important in your life. These genuine connections are treasures that have emerged from your experience of grief. Practice gratitude in a concrete way. Write a list of everything you learned and gained from this painful experience. It may be hard to find the positives at first, but as you reflect, you'll realize there are many. Reread this list whenever you feel bitterness creeping back in. It will be a powerful reminder that you not only survived, but you grew into a wiser, stronger person. We have reached the end of this journey of healing and transformation. The 5 attitudes I have shared with you today have the power to completely change your relationship with the pain of the past. accepting pain as a teacher, practicing true forgiveness, transforming suffering into wisdom, rebuilding your authentic identity, and cultivating gratitude for the lessons learned are powerful tools that will accompany you throughout your life. Remember that healing does not mean forgetting. It means integrating the experience in a healthy way into your personal history, extracting all the learning possible from it without allowing it to continue causing suffering. You have within you everything you need to overcome any pain and build an even more beautiful and fulfilling future. Healing is a process, not a destination. Be patient with yourself, celebrate each small step forward, and trust in your ability to emerge stronger and wiser. Your current pain is temporary, but the wisdom you gain from it will last forever. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 attitudes made the most sense for your current situation? Which of them will you start practicing today? Leave a comment telling us about your experience. Your story may inspire others who are going through the same healing process.